Good morning, welcome to Planet Mojo. Today is a day for potting and planting. As far as planting goes, I don't really know what I'm going to be able to get planted. I'm going to start on these. These are all going in the front ditch garden. At least the majority. I think I'm going to plant a couple over at the head of the ravine over there and possibly along the road that way, but I can't say for sure. What I do know for sure is that I got to do something with this prairie dropseed. So what I am going to do is take these really nice ones and get them in pots like those two, and then the rest of them I hope to get in the ground. These are going to have to go along the ditch here. They need to be someplace I can water them, and I'm not going to run into the woods or along the road with jugs of water to water stuff that I plant over there. So those will likely be the bigger ones. I'll get them planted later on and just do a couple of them along the road. Then they'll be fine to water. The first thing to do is make some soil. I have some peat and compost outside. I got some perlite. I'm going to have to go grab some fertilizer, and I'll get that made and then start potting these. Okay, here is my fertilizer. Potassium, MAP, which is monoammonium phosphate, and urea, which is pure nitrogen. I've said this before, but the way to remember what the different fertilizers do is up, which is nitrogen, down, which is the phosphate, and all around, which is the potassium. Up, down, all around. Their first year of life, your plants really need more of this and this. Sometimes they don't need nitrogen at all. But these are grasses, and grasses benefit from having a little more nitrogen, which they'll get there. There's nitrogen in the MAP, and this is actually more usable, I believe, right away. So my mix on this is just going to be a scoop of each, and that should do just fine. Getting down to the bottom of the barrel here on these. This one's fine. And the urea. Urea moves through the soil really fast. If you were to put this out on a field and just let it sit there without it getting washed in, it would lose a bunch of its potency, like very fast. But we're going to be mixing it in with the soil, and the plants will be using this stuff right away. I think that'll be enough. Let me see. It's for a pretty big bucket. You know, I'm going to add a little more of all three. If you add too much fertilizer, you can kill your plants, and I don't want to do that, but I also don't want to starve them. And once they're in the ground, this stuff will wash through and into the ground. All right, I'm definitely not an expert on mixing fertilizers, so don't try this at home. but I do believe this is going to work real well. All right, let's get it over there and mix it in with some soil. Okay, here's my ingredients. We got the compost, that's mushroom compost, which I believe is just composted grass, peat moss, perlite, and the fertilizer. I want to get that fertilizer mixed in really evenly so I don't have any hot spots. I'll pot with a bunch of it in it. This is actually a little wet right now, so I'm going to add some peat and fertilizer until I get it the right consistency, and then I'm going to add the compost, which is very wet as well, and try to get it to a nice consistency by the time I'm done. The amount of either ingredient does not really matter that much. I'm just trying to get some potting soil out of this, so let's begin. Sometimes you get this peat moss and it's really dry. This is pretty dry, not super dry, but yeah, this soil is very, very wet, so it's going to take a good amount of peat to dry it out. Okay, I got a bunch potted and pretty much all of them thinned down to one plant. I really hate doing that, but yeah, see, this one isn't. You can tell if I were to pull on this one sideways, if it would move this one with it, then this is part of this plant. Some of them are very tillered. I don't know. I think that is part of that plant, but like this one, you can see that these side ones here are part of it, and this one is not. So These got some more room now because these aren't going in for a while. I was thinking I was going to put some of these in today, I believe, and I wanted to get all of these in, but it's just not going to happen. So much to do and so little time to do it in. But now I got a bit more room. Now that I got these in pots, these are going to get a lot bigger. These are stuff for the garden. And this is that bottle brush grass, these two. Those are doing pretty good. Everything's doing pretty good, except for a few of these little blue stem. They just, for some reason, the little blue stem has a tendency to die when it's put in pots. And I don't know what the problem is. It's not like they're root bound. The roots aren't coming out. Oh, they are. Oh, that's a weed. There's a little sign of roots coming out the bottom. Oh well, I'll get them in the ground. I'm going to toss some of this stuff that hasn't come up or hasn't done anything. Make some room, get this stuff over there, and then I don't have that much soil left, but on our rainy days, in a couple days, I'm going to get some more of this into pots. And like I said, it's going to stay outside under a shade cloth until probably mid-June while I get everything else planted. This is just going in the ground just as it is. I'm sure this stuff is majorly root bound, but it's doing pretty well, so it'll last a couple days until I can get it in the ground. I have, well, tomorrow morning I have to spray the vineyard, but that doesn't take too long. So in the afternoon, I'd like to get this and the little blue stem in the ground. If things go as normal, it won't happen, and I'll get one or the other done, but at least I'll get something done. So if you want to see that stuff, make sure you subscribe and click on the update icon. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them in the comment section below. And if you share the video and or give it a like, it helps us out greatly. Thanks for watching and have a great day.